The moment your hand reaches toward a lottery ticket reveals something profound about your inner state. This is a window into your relationship with energy, abundance, and the invisible forces that shape outcomes. Most people remain unconscious of this dynamic, believing they're simply playing with numbers when they're actually broadcasting their deepest beliefs about worthiness and scarcity. There is no such thing as random events. Every result emerges from a preceding energetic condition. Before any outcome manifests in the physical world, it takes shape in the realm of consciousness, breath, and inner posture. The monks understand that fortune follows a precise spiritual law. Your external circumstances mirror your internal climate with startling accuracy. Energy carries a signature that precedes every action. When you approach any endeavor, whether buying a ticket or making a major decision, you emit a vibrational frequency that determines the quality of response you receive. This frequency originates not from your thoughts or words, but from your energetic state. The difference between clean energy and chaotic energy shapes everything that follows. Clean energy flows from centeredness, presence, and inner stability. It moves with quiet confidence and doesn't grasp or demand. Chaotic energy springs from desperation, fear, and the belief that external circumstances must change before peace is possible. The world responds to these energetic signatures with mathematical precision, delivering experiences that match your vibrational offering. Ancient masters possessed the ability to read these energetic fields instantly. They could sense the true motivation behind every gesture, gift, or request. A wealthy man once brought an elaborate gift to a renowned teacher, hoping to purchase favor and special attention. The master touched the offering briefly, then gently declined, saying the weight of hidden expectations made the gift too heavy to accept. The man's confused reaction revealed he had never considered that his intentions carried a tangible energetic signature. Your approach to any situation of chance reveals your relationship with abundance itself. Do you move from excitement and calm anticipation, or from fear and desperate hope? Do you believe that external windfalls will solve internal imbalances that only discipline and presence can address? The energy behind your action becomes the action itself, determining what kind of response the universe can offer you. Speaking blessings while harboring resentment neutralizes their power completely. Praying from panic creates interference that blocks the very assistance you're seeking. Even a single step taken from genuine centeredness can shift the trajectory of your entire path. The monks never skipped the fundamental question: am I moving from stillness or from grasping? This inquiry determines whether your actions multiply emptiness or attract genuine fulfillment. The phrase, "I am already blessed," represents more than positive thinking or wishful affirmation. It establishes an internal position of authority that transforms how you interface with reality. This isn't about pretending circumstances are different than they are. It's about claiming the energetic stance of someone who already carries abundance within their being. In the Shaolin understanding, this constitutes internal authority, the capacity to embody a truth before external proof arrives. This requires tremendous spiritual strength because it demands that you stand in gratitude before receiving visible rewards. The student who can maintain this position demonstrates readiness to receive whatever life wants to offer. This principle appears across wisdom traditions worldwide. Vedantic teachings emphasize that you lack nothing essential to your being. The external world simply reflects your internal assumptions and beliefs. When you speak from knowing rather than needing, you transmit a completely different signal into the field of possibility. Life responds to that frequency with corresponding circumstances. During times of scarcity, those who maintain inner fertility continue to attract opportunities and resources. Their calm demeanor during challenging periods signals to others that they possess something valuable that transcends immediate circumstances. This magnetic quality doesn't arise from pretending everything is perfect, but from cultivating genuine inner stability that remains unshaken by temporary conditions. Saying, "I am already blessed," plants a flag in the invisible realm where all manifestation begins. You speak from the mountain of inner authority rather than the valley of perpetual need. This shift stops the exhausting cycle of chasing external validation and begins attracting what aligns with your elevated internal state. You become the kind of vessel that can hold whatever wants to emerge in your life. The words themselves carry no power unless your posture supports their meaning. When spoken with disciplined presence and a trained heart, they stop being mere words and become the beginning of energetic movement that reshapes your reality from the inside out. Minds that feel empty will always reach outward, believing something external will provide the completion they seek. This creates a self-perpetuating cycle because emptiness attracts more emptiness, regardless of whether you're chasing money, relationships, or achievements. Coming from lack multiplies lack through a spiritual law that operates with mechanical consistency. The phrase, "I am already blessed," corrects this fundamental signal distortion. When spoken with genuine presence, it creates an immediate physiological shift. Your breathing deepens naturally, muscular tension releases, and the nervous system moves from stress response into receptive awareness. Craving gives way to calm as you settle into a state of enoughness that pulls opportunities toward you. This is about becoming the kind of energetic container that life can pour abundance into without it leaking out through the cracks of unworthiness, fear, or desperation. Your transformed internal state creates a natural magnetism that operates without force or demand. Developing this capacity requires consistent training, especially when external circumstances appear challenging. Speaking from fullness while your bank account runs low or your plans collapse tests your commitment to internal authority. The ancient monks considered this the ultimate examination, maintaining stillness during the storm rather than trying to control external conditions through willpower alone. They trained students to fast not just from food but from desperation itself. Learning to sit without reaching, walk without asking, and breathe without demanding strengthens the inner muscles needed to embody abundance regardless of temporary appearances. In this state of non-attachment, blessings begin arriving naturally because you've stopped broadcasting the frequency of lack that repels what you want most. A beggar transmits the signal of not having, while a magnet embodies completeness that draws metal filings effortlessly. When you say, "I am already blessed," let the words arise from your energetic center, not just your lips. Walk without hunger, move without chasing, and observe what finds its way into your experience through this transformed approach to life. The tighter your grip on any outcome, the more it slips through your fingers like water. This ancient lesson reveals itself everywhere in nature and human relationships. Chase a wild animal and it flees. Sit quietly and it may approach with curiosity. Eastern masters studied this principle deeply, recognizing how craving creates tension that builds resistance in both mind and surrounding energy field. Desperation creates an energetic signature that repels the very things you're trying to attract. What you pursue with fear-based intensity begins avoiding you like water pulled away from a grasping hand. This is why the discipline of non-chasing proves so transformative. It's not passive resignation but precision in action. Skilled martial artists don't lunge wildly at their opponents. They breathe, wait, and meet each moment with readiness rather than force. This same principle applies to attracting fortune, love, and opportunity. Moving with calm expectation signals strength to the world, while desperate reaching broadcasts weakness and need. A famous Zen story illustrates this perfectly. A student asked his master how to become enlightened. The master replied that chasing enlightenment pushes it away, but it arrives naturally when the mind becomes quiet enough to receive it. Still water reflects clearly while disturbed surfaces distort everything they attempt to show. The crucial question becomes whether you can remain centered while wanting something deeply. Can you train your nervous system to stay soft and receptive while maintaining sharp clarity about your vision? This represents true mastery, not denying desire but achieving liberation from its compulsive grip. Want what you want fully but never beg for it. Stand like a mountain with unshakable presence. Walk as if you already carry the blessing within your chest. When you stop chasing what lies outside yourself, what belongs to you begins moving in your direction through grace rather than force. Shaolin teachings view money as qi, life force energy in material form. Like all energy, it remains neutral until shaped by the consciousness that interacts with it. Money follows the same laws as any other form of qi, seeking balance, harmony, and integrity in its expression and circulation. If a vessel contains cracks, water leaks out regardless of how much you pour in. If a person carries internal scatter, instability, hidden fears, or unconscious greed, Money becomes a magnifying force that amplifies existing imbalances rather than creating the security they hoped for. What remains hidden in small circumstances becomes dramatically visible when resources increase. This explains why sudden wealth often destroys people who haven't developed the internal stability to handle it wisely. Money sharpens whatever tendencies already exist within someone's character. Small anxieties become overwhelming paranoia. Minor control issues transform into tyrannical behavior. Subtle feelings of unworthiness explode into self-destructive patterns that eliminate the abundance as quickly as it arrived. The monks don't ask how to get more money. They inquire whether they're prepared to hold more responsibility, more energy, more power to impact others' lives. A student once prayed daily for wealth until his master finally handed him a single coin. Disappointed by the modest gift, the student questioned why he received so little. The master smiled and said that mastering 1 coin demonstrates readiness for 10, and mastering 10 shows capacity for hundreds. This teaching reveals that abundance flows to those who've proven they can steward resources wisely rather than those who simply want more for personal comfort. Wealth tests your spiritual development more rigorously than poverty ever could, because it removes external excuses for internal problems and places raw power in your hands. Before any sacred practice begins in the temple, monks establish complete stillness. No sound, no movement, only conscious breathing. They don't rush into prayer or ritual. They arrive fully, settle completely, and sit in profound quietude until their inner world stops shaking with residual mental activity. This period of grounding serves a crucial function. Stillness isn't emptiness but readiness. It means your mind has gathered itself from scattered distractions, your energy has consolidated, and your presence has become substantial enough to engage with spiritual forces appropriately. Even the smallest rituals require this preparation: offering incense, pouring tea, bowing at an altar. The pause serves not to impress external deities but to center the practitioner. If you cannot sit peacefully with yourself, how will you handle the responsibilities that come with wealth, influence, or significant life changes? Movement often disguises escape from present moment awareness. Constant activity can mask an inability to be still with whatever arises in consciousness. Stillness, conversely, represents a declaration of trust in life's unfolding and confidence in your capacity to handle whatever emerges. Masters don't shout their prayers or rush through spiritual practices. They breathe their intentions with the same care they bring to every conscious action. Chan Buddhism teaches that when water becomes clear, you can see the moon's reflection perfectly. But surface agitation breaks the reflection into fragments, not because the moon has changed but because motion distorts the viewing medium. When urgency arises to rush, chase, or fix circumstances through force, stop instead. Sit quietly, breathe consciously, and let silence clear away the mental turbulence that obscures clear seeing. True power arrives through alignment and undisturbed presence rather than effortful striving. Those who can remain still even during uncertainty become like mountains, unmoved by changing weather, steady in their essential nature, and open to receive whatever the sky wants to offer. Saying, "I am already blessed," constitutes both declaration and surrender. In that moment, you release your grip on specific outcomes and step back from desperate reaching. This creates space for life energy to move freely, for circumstances to shift naturally, and for blessings to find their way without being pursued compulsively. Ancient masters understood this paradox intimately. The more tightly you cling to desired outcomes, the more they slip away from your grasp. But when you stop needing external validation for your peace and happiness, when you no longer believe your well-being depends on getting specific results, that's precisely when things begin arriving in your experience. There's quiet strength visible in those who can act without begging for particular responses. You see it in monks sweeping floors without complaint about the endless nature of the task. You witness it in farmers who plant seeds with full attention, then wait for rain without anxiety about timing or weather conditions. They engage completely with present action while releasing attachment to outcomes beyond their control. True prayer, according to the masters, ends in silence rather than repeated demands. After words are spoken and breath is taken consciously, only waiting remains, along with knowing that you've already aligned yourself with whatever wants to emerge. Authentic spiritual practice leads to trust rather than increased petitioning or bargaining with unseen forces. When you say, "I am already blessed," you step fully into present moment awareness, no longer negotiating with future possibilities or convincing yourself that current circumstances prove your inadequacy. This isn't magical thinking but a shift from contraction to expansion, from chasing to allowing, from resistance to flow. Strangely and beautifully, this is when doors begin opening. Not because you forced them through willpower or manipulation, but because you stopped standing in their way with fear-based energy that blocks natural movement. Let the words rise from genuine stillness. Say them once with complete meaning. Then release the outcome like a leaf floating down a stream, trusting the current to carry it where it needs to go. The moment your fingers make contact with a lottery ticket, pause. Not for luck or superstitious protection, but for awareness of what this small action reveals about your internal state. The numbers themselves are merely symbols. The real spiritual practice lies in what the moment illuminates about your relationship with hope, anxiety, and the secret beliefs you carry about being rescued by external circumstances. Do you feel a spike of excitement mixed with anxiety? Does a quiet voice whisper that maybe this ticket will solve problems that only inner development can actually address? This is where genuine spiritual work begins, not after discovering whether you've won, but in the stillness before action, when you can observe your mind's patterns with curious attention. The Shaolin path doesn't emphasize dramatic enlightenment experiences or grand spiritual gestures. It focuses on precision in small moments, choosing conscious presence over unconscious reaction, deliberate breathing over impulsive movement, awareness over autopilot. Every action serves as a mirror, especially the seemingly insignificant ones that reveal your default patterns. Purchasing a ticket appears trivial and forgettable, but the energy you bring to that moment speaks volumes about your spiritual development. Are you acting from trust in life's abundance or from fear of continued lack? From inner fullness that can engage playfully with chance, or from craving that believes external circumstances must change before peace becomes possible? One master gave students a single coin each morning with instructions not to spend it but to observe what arose in their consciousness when holding it. Did the coin awaken gratitude, planning, worry, or scheming? He would tell them the coin wasn't for purchasing food but for gaining insight into their internal reactions. This exemplifies the training method, using everyday moments as opportunities for consciousness development. Nothing remains separate from spiritual practice when approached with proper awareness. Every interaction with uncertainty, whether through lottery tickets, risky decisions, or silent hopes, offers a chance to watch your inner posture without judgment. Mastery begins with clear seeing, with refusing to flinch from whatever arises, and allowing each moment to show you where unconscious patterns still operate. The numbers may never align in your favor, but if your mind achieves alignment with present moment awareness, you've won something far more valuable than money. The world responds to how you hold yourself during small, unseen seconds when no one else is watching. That's where energy shifts occur and genuine power begins accumulating. This teaching isn't ultimately about lotteries, luck, chance, or numbers drawn from machines. It concerns the quality of energy you bring to each moment and how that energy shapes what becomes possible in your experience. Those 4 words, "I am already blessed," represent more than something you say. They describe something you become through practice. This constitutes a ritual of stillness, a method for stepping into energetic alignment before the world has opportunity to respond to your request. The moment before you act plants the seed in consciousness that determines what can grow. Your internal state shapes your fate through mechanisms that operate beneath the threshold of ordinary awareness. Speak the words with conscious breath. Say them with full presence. Allow them to quiet the craving that scatters your energy and anchor you in a sense of enoughness that needs nothing external for completion. Whether the ticket wins or loses becomes secondary to what you've accomplished internally. Training the mind, practicing calm, moving like a monk with quiet intentionality rather than desperate grasping. This represents the real fortune available to anyone willing to develop it. Moving through daily life without waiting for special moments to practice awareness. Buying tea, tying shoes, reaching for your wallet, any simple action can become an opportunity to ask what energy you're carrying right now. Every moment holds the potential to choose mastery over unconsciousness. The ancient teaching remains clear. Even small amounts of energy test the strength of your inner container. A robust system characterized by calm mind, steady breath, and clean heart can hold wealth without becoming destabilized. It won't panic when gains arrive or collapse when they disappear, because it understands that money isn't security. Presence is security. Chi flows naturally toward what respects it without hoarding, fearing, or worshiping it. Energy seeks openness rather than desperation, expansion rather than contraction. Before asking for abundance, examine whether your body feels calm, whether your mind operates clearly, whether your heart remains honest about its motivations. Winning money presents a different challenge than most people anticipate. Many people win lotteries, inherit fortunes, or receive unexpected windfalls. Far fewer are prepared to hold what they receive without it destroying their relationships, values, or peace of mind. The real spiritual work involves preparing yourself to be a worthy steward of whatever abundance wants to flow through your life. In the end, what enters your experience matters less than how you receive it and what you do with it once it arrives. The monk who can remain centered while handling both poverty and wealth has mastered something that transcends financial circumstances entirely. This inner stability becomes the foundation for engaging skillfully with whatever life presents, whether that's a winning lottery ticket or another day of simple, unglamorous practice. The deepest teaching embedded in all spiritual traditions points toward this truth. Your external world will inevitably mirror your internal landscape with startling precision. Change what happens inside your consciousness, and external circumstances must shift to match that new frequency. This isn't positive thinking or wishful manifestation, but recognition of how energy operates according to natural laws that govern both matter and mind. When you truly understand this principle, every moment becomes an opportunity to choose what kind of world you want to inhabit by choosing what kind of person you want to be. The lottery ticket becomes insignificant compared to the lottery of consciousness that determines whether you spend your days in anxiety or peace, scarcity or abundance, isolation or connection. This is why masters throughout history have appeared so unconcerned with external circumstances while remaining deeply committed to internal development. They recognize that mastering consciousness gives you mastery over everything that flows from consciousness, which includes the entire spectrum of human experience. The ticket may or may not win, but the person who approaches it with genuine spiritual maturity has already won the only prize that matters: freedom from the compulsive patterns that keep most people trapped in cycles of suffering regardless of their financial status.